Hello, welcome to another edition of Grinding My Gears. Today on the show, I won't really grind my gears on something. I'm going to review on what happened yesterday in college sports. If you don't know what happened, I will get into it and dive into that. The reason why I'm not doing a grinding my gears is because what happened yesterday is what I was grinding my gears about on episode 2, paying athletes. We're going to talk about what this means for college sports in the grand scheme of things, and what this means for the smaller conferences. So, if you didn't know, yesterday, in amongst all the breaking news that happened, Landon Donovan retiring after this year, the trade going through with Kevin Love, there was also this. There was 3 big breaking news. It was a really huge day yesterday. The Power 5 conferences, the ACC, the SEC, the Pac-12, the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the Big 10. Big 10, there you go. The Power 5 will now get stipends for athletes and more rewarding scholarships for players. And the minute I saw that, I thought, wow, they're finally listening to my shows, the NCAA. They're finally listening, because look at the power this show has. We change stuff just like that. I talk about how they need to pay players, and boom, they take care of it. That's the power that this show brings. You know? But in all seriousness, this is a big step forward for the NCAA. You know, I've said this several times, and I'm going to say it again. When you are a multi-billion-dollar nonprofit, you don't have to write any, it's all tax write-off. You have to compensate the players well. It's one thing, people put this, oh, well, they get a free education. Well, you know what? So did the guy in Chemistry 101 who only gets it from his education. He's also getting a scholarship too. But he's not putting a dime into the college pocket. You know who is? The people playing on Saturday, who are going to eventually play on Sunday. That's who's putting the money into their pockets, and that's who they should eventually be paying, which they will be. I thought it was, okay, let's look at this. You have all these conferences with TV deals. Big Ten Network, which is absolutely huge. No wonder why Maryland and Rutgers went to the Big Ten. It's not because they like, traveling to Nebraska and Wisconsin for that nice cheddar. No, it's because they'll be getting a lot of cheddar from the Big Ten Network. That's one of the biggest college conference stations is the Big Ten Network. I remember when I was living in Indiana at the time, Big Ten Network was huge. I mean, that's what it was all about. And then, the Pac-12 got it, and then the Big 12. Now the SEC is getting one, which I think is going to be absolutely huge. It's, they're promoting this SEC network, but they're forgetting, all that money that's being driven into their pocketbooks that they're not paying the players. And finally an answer that we've been looking for this whole time. This whole time we've been looking for, paying the players. Just giving a little bit of stipend, a little bit of money. That's the least you can do. But, if we look to the other side of things, this will definitely hurt the smaller schools, the smaller conferences like the Mountain West, the WAC, the Sun Belt, and the American Conference with Louisville and teams like that. Because when they try to recruit players, they can't, what's this word? They can't really bring up oh yeah, we're just like the Power Five, and we're gonna give you scholarships and this and that. They can't give you that kind of thing because it was only for the Power Five conferences. But I do believe I heard that the smaller conferences have until next week to upheld or to change the ruling, but many are saying that they won't do that. So that will definitely hurt them in recruiting because if you are someone who would choose between, let's put as an example, Boise State, or would you rather play for a team that's going to give you more benefits than just a scholarship, which has really run its course? If I tell you the truth, you're not somebody. You're not going to be a chemist. You're not going to, this thing where education first is very far and few between. We're not living in the 1960s anymore, where it's sad for me to say this, but I'm just telling you the truth. This is not a, a school first or school first, academic first, and then you're a student now. Or then you're an athlete later. This is big business. And this is what it would eventually come to when you're putting so much money, conference relocation, and all these big money pouring into all these different conference channels. It's going to be changed from athlete first, student second, and I don't see any problem with that. If they're doing, they're putting money into the college, pockets and NCAA's pocket, no problem whatsoever. Now, what I would say, I would give a pay scale to different players. Like, of course, if a Tim Tebow, I would give a lot of money to, as to a fourth string running back, a little less money because he's not really, carrying his weight, so to speak, to the college or the university, putting money in their pocketbooks. He's not really, doing that. So it would just, depend on where you are on the depth chart and how much you're producing. So yeah, the people who so call it, college athletics and you're a student first and then you're an athlete. No, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. It's getting big to the point where it's almost professional. It's like a notch below professional football. Now I know there's some players playing in there who are not even going to play professional football, but they're still putting money to the university and the NCAA. I think this was huge step. And I think I forgot to mention that with also the stipends, and the bigger reward of scholarships, they get and I taught in like an independence ruling of what they want to do with these Power Five. A longer playing time or a longer practice time, because before you get like a limit of how long you had to practice. Now it's like you can do whatever you want, sort of thing, and that's a huge disadvantage for the smaller conferences. But that's my take on what was grinding my gears, and I was catching you up on what had transpired from my previous grinding my gears rant. So, power has been made. This show is just so mighty. Days after I released that, they come out with this. The power! I'll see you next show. Alright. It's been real.